So I have this bike here, and I've been having a lot of problems with the tube, with the tubes inside, and they keep getting popped and stuff. I mean, I would personally think that someone creative enough would think, you know, let's make this like a wagon, right? It's still a bike, but like a wagon wheel. So stick with me. And instead of this being a tube, it could be solid rubber. And over here somewhere, it could have shocks to, you know, so you won't feel a lot of the bumping or whatever, right? Because that's what the tire does in a way. So if you have a solid rubber that could hold the weight, last long, and where when you ride the bike it still feels the same, then I think a lot of people will buy this bike. I think especially if it's already manufactured that way, where they just go in the store. I mean, you could go buy a bike right now for like $200. So if it only costs you a few dollars more to make that tube, the solid tube, the rubber tire or whatever, and the shocks in it, because I'm sure there's already bikes out there with shocks, people will buy that instead of this. I mean, if they're racers and they want something more picky about it, then they could get picky with it and go buy one. But I mean, I'm sure there's probably stuff out there already, but I didn't personally go into the store and buy this. I can't afford it. But it's a constant problem that people are dealing with. So I think it would be a great idea for someone to create something like that. And there's some times when I flip this around to fix the tube or the tire, and then the bottom of the cement scratches the seat. So someone creates like a lip down here that you could fold down, I mean over the seat, so when you flip it, it won't scratch it. Maybe when you flip it back, it'll have the reflectors like that. So back here it'll have a reflector when you flip it down. When you flip it up, it'll be over here, but it wouldn't even matter because you're flipping it up to turn the whole bike around. Not just that, but like, I mean, it's still a bike. Would it still be a bike if it had a covering over it, like an awning, like a shield type of thing, kind of like what we did with the car, right? We have windows. So I think if someone did something like that, yeah, it might look a little bit funny. It might look like a little car, but it's still a bike. And can you get that to be street legal as a bike? And if you can, I think you'll sell it, because, you know, look at me. I'm drenched. I'm covered with water. All my clothing inside is wet. My backpack is wet. I don't know if my paperwork got wet, but I mean, with a solid confinement type of thing, the rainwater will stay out of your way. Fuck it, throw some fucking windshield wipers on that bitch. You know, put some, flash things on it, and maybe put some pockets in there so you can store, light stuff like your water bottle, a radio. Like, I don't know, it was just an idea, but maybe it's a great idea, maybe it's a bad idea, I don't really know. But I think it would be something to look into if you have that type of money to do something like that, because it matters. It only matters about, I mean, what it really comes down to here is what you're trying to use the bike for. Like, are you trying to just get around and you want something like that? Then that would be a great way to stay protected from the rain. Especially if you have a job, you don't want to go in your job all wet, but if that's your only transportation, you got no other choice, right? So yeah, I guess it does matter. Some people are racers, they don't care, whatever. Or some people just want a bike like this just to have fun. But what I'm talking about is like a street legal bike without turning it into a vehicle type of thing. And, you know, just thinking outside the box, you know. And I think people out there that have investments in this type of stuff, I think you guys would be very interested in this idea and this concept. And I guess you could create your own shield design to look cool. I don't know, I guess that would be up to your designers, right, to come up with something creative. And I know there's a lot of bike brands out there, so yeah, it might seem like a stupid idea, but if you have to ride around in the rain, it'll also keep the sun off of you, and it could act like what is it, like a teepee, like the Indians used to use, like a cone. So if it's super hot outside, maybe you could have like a vent because heat naturally rises up, right? We were taught that in school, like in elementary. What heat rises up, so they say stop, drop, and roll, you know, because in the bottom it's cooler and the clean oxygen is at the bottom. So if you're here, you have a shelter, and it's super hot, and I'm talking about like a sunny day, super hot, right? So the sun beating on it, it'll create the air. I mean, I'll force the air out to the top, and maybe you could install some little fans in there, you know, like whatever comes to your mind, whatever you can think of. So there's so many ways that these bikes could be advanced. Like I was even thinking about this here, like these rims could have spokes, like with springs. So if you hit a rock, this thing could go in, but then the springs will be so powerful that it'll force this rim out. So this could be turned, instead of having the shock things over here, you could have them on the rim, and that is a whole completely new design, new experimentations and stuff like that. So I mean, there's so many other things that can be implemented on this if, you know, considerable time is spent just on this, and there's a group of people to, you know, play around with different ideas. And I think people that are into this stuff will probably love this idea. So yeah, anyway, I just felt like sharing that, getting it off my chest. So you guys have a great day, and God bless. This is Redding, California. I'm at Lowe's. Lowe's store. See that? I love Lowe's. But anyways, blessings.